Hello, ladies and gentlemen out there watching on YouTube, and welcome to race number 2 of Season 10 of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series. I am Levi McIntyre, the voice of the NNSCRA Marvel Studios Cup Series, here to welcome you to the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro Speedway, as we continue the first of the two-part Southeastern Swing for this season, and set for 60 laps of racing at this classic short track deep in Wilkes County, North Carolina. So while you may have seen the point standings heading into the race today, a quick recap of the top 10. So after a fantastic Daytona 500, Zachary Fitzwater leads by 10 points over Carson Gum, 20 over both Michael Norman and Daniel DK, 30 over William Brock and Cody Lamas, 40 over Laney Marino, 45 over Jonathan Zorline and Jesse Turner, and 50 over James Qualls. So that is a look at the top 10 and the points coming into the race today. But without further ado, let's take a look at the top 10 in the starting lineup for the race here at North Wilkesboro. Alyssa Drayson on the pole for today, and she will be given those 5 bonus points for getting the pole. Starting next to her is Raphael LeDuc. Row 2, we have Keith Miller Jr., and making her first points race debut, Lindsay Snyder in 4th. Row 3, Lisa Nelson and Dylan Poteet making his first start this season. Row 4, we have Daniel DK and Seth Cole. And then row 5, Melissa Alexander and Kyle Matthews. Let's get the command to fire engines for the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro.
Drivers, start your engines.
All 40 drivers now rolling around for the pace lap here. So yeah, a lot of drivers looking to keep momentum going that they had started at Daytona. Some drivers looking to gain momentum, and some drivers who are making their first starts ever or first starts of the season, such as in the case of people like Lindsay Snyder and Dylan Poteet, who are making their first ever starts and first starts of the season respectively, looking to come out swinging in hopes of getting as many points as possible to put themselves in the top 30 in points after race number 5. Because remember, after race 5, whoever's top 30 at that moment would be locked into future races. Drivers outside would have to qualify their way in. Pace car in his pit road. Boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing. Right off the bat, Alyssa Drayson going to be gaining plenty of points. 5 for leading a lap and the 5 for getting the pole, but she's going to say, I'm going to play it safe for now. I'll let Raphael LeDuc go, because she understands Raphael LeDuc is very hungry, because after all, this is his final season in the series, and he wants to end off with a bang. And currently now, he has the lead, and he's pulling away big time from everybody behind him, as Keith Miller Jr. actually passes Alyssa Drayson to get to 2nd, and Alyssa Drayson's going to fall back even further as Lisa Nelson takes 3rd. And how about the rookie sensation Daniel DK? I'm going to talk a little bit about DK, because after all, not only is he a good friend and an amazing guitarist, but he's shown back in the Daytona 500 that he might have a future in the NR 2003 world, as he came in, first ever race he ran, the Daytona 500, led plenty of laps, finished 4th, stayed out of any trouble. Right now, having a solid run going here at the start of the race, running in the top 5, but now he might lose a few spots because he's stuck on the outside lane, and that's not where you really want to be here at North Wilkesboro, is on the middle to outside grooves. Unless you can make it work, but it's very uncommon. Although he about cleared Alyssa Drayson to keep the 5th position. I don't know, I'm going to stay on this battle for a little bit between DK and Drayson. as these two are battling hard for the 5th position, and DK trying to use the outside lane to keep the spot, and Alyssa Drayson having a tough time getting past the 66 because the 66 just is not giving up. And in fact, almost even in the lap times, although this time I guess DK decided to relent and try and conserve his tires. And now he's going to fall in line behind the 87. Could he be going for a crossover move? He's trying to get a run going to the inside to try and get back up to 5th. And he's there. Ooh, I don't know if there was contact, but if there was, early beating and banging here in the early going here at North Wilkesboro, as it's still side-by-side between the 66 and the 87. But who's going to give is the question. It looks like DK is going to finally clear Alyssa Drayson to get up to 5th. Meanwhile, let's get back up to the very front of the field, and ever since Rafael Leduc has taken the lead from the 87 back on lap 2, he's just been a runaway train since. Right now has a 1.1 second lead over Kyle Matthews, but now that lead shrunk a little bit as Matthews might have something for the 16. And Kyle Matthews, if I recall, I believe he has a win at this track in the past, maybe back in Season 8, I want to say. But I do remember the winners at this track last season. Daniel Voiles won this race a season ago, and then Carson Gum won the race before the finale back in Season 9. And they own the highest of those two right now. Right there in the 9th position, might be going for more, going for 8th, is Daniel Voiles, as Voiles looking to try and go 2 seasons in a row winning this exact race, but he's got a lot of work ahead of him. As Alyssa Drayson started on the pole, led the first lap, but ever since she's been sinking like a rock. She just keeps getting put up into the outside lane, and it's not helping her at all. Right now scored 13th on the racetrack. Back up at the front, Rafael Leduc starting to slowly pull away again from the 09. Although that time it looked like the gap shrunk, and it did by 0.2. So Kyle Matthews is trying to conserve himself, but also reel in that 16 car so he can battle it out for the lead. As we are now a quarter of the way through this race. And right now, Rafael Leduc looking to add on to his already impressive legacy in this series in his farewell season. A one in the wins column, but he might be wanting to go for more than just a win. He wants to try and get the one thing that has eluded him his entire career in the Marvel Studios Cup Series, and that is a championship. He had a fairly strong run in the Daytona 500 back on Friday, led, and I think he was actually the dominant car of the race, led the most laps, but wound up finishing 13th. So he's definitely looking to try and continue his dominance, but get the win. As he's slowly again pulling away from Kyle Matthews, but Matthews still has him in his sights. It's just a matter of if he can get a caution to come out, and he could be right on the back bumper of the 16 and then really go for something. Meanwhile, back here, a possible battle going on for the 3rd spot. Keith Miller Jr. has the spot for the time being, but Lisa Nelson wants the spot. Lisa Nelson, who won the Budweiser duel race she was in back on Wednesday, and didn't really have a very good run in the 500, finished 25th. But right now having a very good run going as we're nearing halfway, or now we're about a third of the way through this race, running in 4th. Meanwhile, Daniel DK, out of all the drivers top 5 in the standings, he's the highest of them all currently in the 5th position. Although he's got some serious competition reeling him in slowly but surely. Melissa Alexander, who came into this race 29th in points, looking to get a big points upswing going. Although here comes Chris Dollarton, who's another driver making his first start this season as he failed to qualify for the Daytona 500, but he qualified his way in this week. And oh, Lisa Nelson in the pit road, and so is Rafael Leduc, green flag pit stop. So actually, it is going to be a two-stop race. So they're entering around laps 22, 23, and 24, it looks like. Kyle Matthews now into pit road, followed by Keith Miller Jr., Daniel DK, among others. And now the leader is going to be Chris Dollarton. And how ironic, we were just talking about him. But this will not last for too long. Unless a caution were to come out, then it would really shuffle the field up in a big, big way. But who knows what will happen. Although there is a big pile of cars coming into pit road. Hopefully they give each other plenty of space and real estate, and it looks like they are. So good move on the part of these drivers. Although some debris on the track, maybe some damage to the two of Dylan Young, perhaps? But so far things are okay. Meanwhile, I'm trying to find who the leader was. According to scoring, it was Lindsay Snyder in the 1 car. But she's now in pit road. And I believe now everybody's been into the pits, and it looks like Rafael Leduc is going to be the one furthest ahead again, as Kyle Matthews will settle in second more than likely. So we're going to stay with the 16 of Rafael Leduc for the moment, and then once things settle and score around, we'll do a full field rundown of the events here at North Wilkesboro. But trying to find the one of Lindsay Snyder, I think she got passed by everybody, so where is she? There she is. Technically, she still scored as the leader. Or wait, now it's updating. Now Leduc has the leads back. Alright, so now we're going to do our best to do a full field rundown, as now we've got lap cars in between first and second. But Rafael Leduc so far has been the guy dominating this race, as he continues to pull away from second place, being Kyle Matthews in the 09. Third is Keith Miller Jr. Fourth is Lisa Nelson. Fifth is Chris Dollarton. Sixth is Daniel DK. How ironic, in the 66 running in the 6th spot. May the power of Christ compel you. Anyways, seventh is Quentin Moore. Eighth is Melissa Alexander. Ninth, Seth Cole. 10th, currently, where is 10th? There he is, Daniel Voiles. 11th is Alyssa Drayson. 12th, Dylan Poteet. 13th, James Qualls. Little bump from Qualls into Poteet, but 14th is Cole Deaver. 15th, Jessica Shelton. 16th, Jay Jefferson. 17th, Mitchell Collins. 18th is Daniel Bouchard. 19th, Lindsay Snyder. 20th, Michael Norman. 21st is Ryan Acosta. 22nd, Artur Castanha. 23rd is Scott Roverston. 24th, DJ Curtis, making his return in a start this season. 25th is Henry Sanford. 26th is Matt McIntyre. 27th, Ricky Karaman. And then the last car on the lead lap currently in 28th is Jordan Forbes, but he's got Rafael Leduc right there behind him. Meanwhile, the lap cars, 29th is Jonathan Zorline, 30th is Joey Parkhill, 31st, Caleb Kilburn, 32nd, Lauren Marino, 33rd, Laney Marino, 34th, Dylan Jacobs, 35th, William Brock, 36th is Charles Belding, 37th, Carson Gum, 38th, Jesse Turner, 39th, our points leader, Zachary Fitzwater, and then currently last is his teammate, Dylan Young. Not a very good day for Young Motorsports, especially the points leader, Zachary Fitzwater, who's probably going to fall down to right around 20th or so in the points, depending on what all could happen. As we now have gone past the halfway point, and Rafael Leduc's lead continues to grow to a 2.4 second lead over Kyle Matthews, and it doesn't help that Matthews has to put up with lap traffic as a result. If he can just get around those 3 cars ahead of him of Kilburn, Parkhill, and Zorlene, and just run fast lap times, he might still have a chance at the win after all. But then again, we do got another round of pit stops coming in probably about 10 to 11 laps from now, and those are going to be the make or break stops. As meanwhile, side by side up ahead for the 25th spot between Ricky Carmen and DJ Curtis, as these two are going at it on the racetrack. And actually, the lap cars have been or the tail end of the lead lap cars have been slowly pulling away from Rafael Leduc, and Kyle Matthews, not in an amazing fashion, but he's slowly chipping away at Rafael Leduc's lead. But who knows, unless he just really pushes it, I don't know if it will be enough, unless he can by some miracle get out of the pits better than last time, or get out ahead of Leduc, which will be a tough task in its own right. But meanwhile, Jordan Forbes got really tight in the center of 3 and 4 right there, went way up high, and that's going to cost him a ton of time. Because now Rafael Leduc, again, trying to reel in more lap traffic to put more cars between himself and second place Kyle Matthews. And Matthews was really slow right there on that lap, and he's actually now going to possibly get into a battle with Keith Miller Jr., who's slowly catching the 09, and that would be for the second spot if the 15 can shake off the 38 of Lauren Marino, who's a lapped car, in hopes of getting to the 09 to get to second. Keith Miller Jr. had an okay Daytona 500, finished 18th, but stayed out of trouble. Right now having the best run of the season so far in 3rd, but he's got second place in his sights. Meanwhile, we might see a battle happen here for the 4th position. Lisa Nelson has the spot, but Chris Dollarton wants it as he is right on her back bumper. A little bump and run action for the 4th spot, possibly. Although Lisa Nelson, carrying that momentum, managed to hold off Dollarton for the moment, but Dollarton back to the inside. Off of 4, and Dollarton's going to beat the 6 at the line for the spot, but the 6 is still there. Well, not anymore. Now the 6 of Nelson's going to fall in line behind Dollarton to fall back to 5th. Trying to look around for any big position battles going on the racetrack, and not really a whole lot. It's kind of spread out a little bit, and that's also because of the lapped cars being kind of nuisance. Now Rafael Leduc's in the pit road now. Kyle Matthews has the lead for the time being, but Keith Miller is right there. So now the question is, can these drivers get out of the pits faster and better than the 16, although the 16 has a huge advantage of being the only one in pit road, and his pit stall is way up there. It's the 2nd stall, so he's going to have no problem unless they have something go wrong with the crew members on this pit stop. But I'm going to watch the 16 and see what he does. 2 tires and gas. And without a head scratch right there. So Leduc, flawless pit stop if you ask me. Meanwhile, Kyle Matthews has entered, and I believe he also went with 2 tires and gas, but can he get out ahead of the 16? But the 16 is coming in so fast, he's going to mosey on by. Although Caleb Kilburn trying to go to the inside of the 16, that could actually help some cars. That could help Kyle Matthews, actually, now that I think about it, because now Kilburn playing nuisance to the 16. But Kilburn had to come into pit road himself, so never mind. I thought that was going to be the case with all that. But James Qualls actually led the line, but the caution is out! That is a game changer right there! Caution has come out! And I think Keith Miller Jr., beat out Rafael Leduc. Chris Dollarton even beat out Rafael Leduc. I think Leduc may have just gotten screwed out of the win, possibly. Now the scoring's going to be really messed up, and Lindsey Snyder was in the pits as the leader. That could really shake things up in a massive way. Holy cow, I did not expect that, but I'm trying to look around for any cars that may have gotten damage. Looks like it could have been Mitchell Collins, or he's just in pit road. But I don't really see any cars that have damage, so I'm going to be interested to see what happened to bring this caution out. But Mitchell Collins still on pit road, so it might have been something to do with him. But the leader at the time of scoring was Lindsey Snyder. But before we take a look at all that, we're going to see what brought the caution out for the first time today here at North Wilkesboro. So here's a look at what happened to bring the caution out. So Seth Cole is coming out of pit road as he made his green flag pit stop. And he's going to come back on the racetrack and blend in as he's getting up to speed here. But what he doesn't realize is that William Brock is coming down into pit road himself. And he already has some damage and just did not see Seth Cole there. The two make contact and they both go for a quick spin into turn 3. I'm going to go to helicopter view to see if anybody hit anything. And Seth Cole, little contact into the outside wall, but it doesn't look like anybody else is going to hit him. Although, wow, Dylan Young about got clipped in the tail end of all that. Although the track is essentially blocked for a second there. I'm keeping an eye on anybody to see if there was anyone who ran over the 29 and the 25. But no, it looks like they all get it woed up enough and avoid any further contact. So miscommunication between a driver going into pit road and a driver coming out of pit road on the back straightaway. And it really is going to shake up this whole race. So let's take you to the restart here at North Wilkesboro. Well, no cars are out of the race after that caution, but the entire field has been shuffled up in a massive, massive way because of the timing of that caution where cars were in the pit road. And the leader is all the way towards the back of the field, and that is Chris Dollarton. So Chris Dollarton currently leads the way here at North Wilkesboro. Second is Keith Miller Jr. Third is Rafael Leduc. Fourth is Kyle Matthews. Fifth is Daniel DK. Sixth is Lisa Nelson. Seventh, Quentin Moore. Eighth, James Qualls. Ninth, Melissa Alexander. 10th is Jay Jefferson. 11th, Lindsey Snyder. 12th, Artur Castanha. 13th is DJ Curtis. 14th, Caleb Kilburn. 15th, Jessica Shelton. 16th, Seth Cole. 17th, William Brock. And then the rest of the field, 18th is Dylan Poteet. 19th, Daniel Bouchard. 20th is Michael Norman. 21st is Daniel Voiles. 22nd, Ryan Acosta. 23rd, Alyssa Drayson. 24th, Cole Deaver. 25th, Ricky Karaman. 26th is Henry Sanford. 27th, Matt McIntyre. 28th is Jordan Forbes. 29th, Scott Groverston. 30th is Joey Parkhill. And then the final two cars on the lead lap currently are Jonathan Zorline and Laney Marino. Everyone else, Dylan Jacobs, Charles Belding, Carson Gum, Jesse Turner, Laney Marino, and all three young motorsports drivers, Zachary Fitzwater, Dylan Young, and Mitchell Collins, all those drivers are a lap down. But it looks like when we get back to racing, it'll be 6 laps to go, and Chris Dollarton is in the catbird seat to steal a win because of the timing of that caution. But then again, we could see Rafael Leduc shoot right past the top 2 and get the lead back in the win. But who knows what's going to happen. As I'm trying to go up ahead and the pace car's in pit road, so the green flag waves now. We're back underway here at North Wilkesboro with 6 laps to go. Let me get back to the leaders. And there they are. They have just taken the restart. Dollarton hanging on for now, but Keith Miller Jr. is coming in like a rocket. He wants to get that win, and LeDuc might end up getting passed by Dylan Jacobs, who's a lap down. So LeDuc's chances of winning may have dwindled now as a result. 5 laps to go. Dollarton hanging on for now, but Keith Miller is still there in the mix. Jessica Sheldon in the pit road. I don't know why. She might have not been able to get enough gas in the car. 4 laps to go, and Keith Miller is right there. He is right there. He's just hoping that Dollarton has problems getting around the lap traffic, and he can take advantage of it. But it's not really working for him just yet. And it's going to be 3 to go here at the line. And Dollarton now trying to get around the 77 of Joey Parkhill to put him back a lap down. And Keith Miller actually going to possibly get passed by Dylan Jacobs. But Jacobs thought better of it for now, and Miller's still there. And it's going to be 2 laps to go at the line. Final 2 laps in the first Union 400 for Chris Dollarton. In his first start of Season 10, he's looking to win and steal the win. But Keith Miller Jr. is trying to go for his first win of the season, and he's there! Big move to the inside entering turn 3. But can he make it stick is the question, as the white flag is out. Here at North Wilkesboro, Dollarton still leads, but it's side by side between the top 2. Going to go to helicopter view. Dollarton trying to hang on the outside, but it doesn't look like it's going to work. Keith Miller Jr. with the last lap pass. Checkered flag waving. Keith Miller Jr. wins the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro after a very confusing scoring issue. Then again, this track is notorious for scoring errors, but regardless, according to the officials and the record books, Keith Miller Jr. is going to win the first Union 400 at North Wilkesboro. And no doubt he needs to thank that caution for coming out and getting ahead of Rafael LeDuc off of pit road. Otherwise, who knows what could have happened. But regardless, fantastic job by the 15 of Miller. Hung out in the top 5 all day long, and it paid off. Anyways, let's look at the rest of the results. Chris Dollarton, man, he had it in the bag, but then the lap traffic really got him slow, and he got passed on the last lap. But still, for his first start of the season, great showing in the second position. Dominant car of the day, Rafael LeDuc, doesn't get the finish that he perhaps felt he deserved, but still a phenomenal points run, finishing with a strong third place finish, and will no doubt get those 10 extra bonus points, 5 for leading a lap and 5 for leading the most laps. Kyle Matthews, who was also top 5 all day, gets a strong 4th place finish. And then Daniel DK, the only driver so far to finish top 5 in both races this season, as he continues to show that he could be a race-winning contender later in the season as he finishes 5th. Lisa Nelson, great rebound after the Daytona 500, finishes in the 6th position. Quentin Moore with a great run in 7th. James Qualls also joining Daniel DK as only drivers to finish top 10 in both races, as he finishes in 8th. Melissa Alexander with a solid run in 9th, and then Jay Jefferson rounding out the top 10 in the 10th spot. Then there's the rest of your top 20, your top 30, and the bottom 5 for this week's race were Laney Marino, our points leader heading in, and the 500 winner from Daytona, Zachary Fitzwater, Dylan Young, Mitchell Collins, and Jessica Sheldon. Well, that does it for our coverage here today at North Wilkesboro, as the next race to continue the first of 2 Southeastern swings, we head up to Rockingham Speedway for the Subway 400. But until then, here is Keith Miller Jr.'s victory burnout and the point standings heading into Rockingham, and this is Levi McIntyre signing off.